Raid 2, an actually enjoyable sequel. Hello there, namaste. So Raid 2 is basically, he's on his 75th raid, and he's taking down a high politician at this point in time. First, he targets a king at the beginning of the film and realizes that the king is backed by a politician, and basically dirties his own name to target the politician. But the politician was aware. And the one thing I liked about this film is, like, you know what? Every government in the world should have all their politicians' statements, bank balances, public to their nations. Why? Because they're political servants. They should not be able to take kickbacks on kickbacks on kickbacks. They're already getting paid and go on vacations around the world on the taxpayer dollar. There is no way they should have kickbacks on kickbacks on kickbacks through their foundations. You could tell who the main villain was going to be from the beginning of this film, because there is no one. Or it's the ones who pretend to be the nicest who are the worst. And what's funny is, normally when I watch these films where people start rioting out of sheer stupidity, I normally start complaining. And then we had the incidents in LA where people are rioting because they're just dumb and don't think, and the news told them to riot. And I'm just like, okay, I've lost any right to complain. I'm a level-headed person. I like to at least think. But people are driven by emotion. And that's what the case was. They were all driven by emotion. They thought this guy had their backs. But I gotta say, one thing that made this film strange for me was, I was worried, because at the beginning of the film, like in 30 minutes in, they do the reveal about how Devgun noticed everything, how he found out everything was fake. Only to find out that the politician did a reversal, and how the politician knew what Devgun was doing. So we keep having this re-reveals of what each person was planning at each stage. And I was like, okay, if it didn't work the first time, do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And I was like, okay, I enjoy that. It's a funny little clapback each time. Because in the first film, it was primarily at the very end, if I remember, where everything kind of gets revealed on how he realized most things. One thing I had an issue with, but at the same time was one of the best characters, was they brought back the villain, they're not really a villain, but like the politician from the first film. They brought him back. He's leaving prison on parole, only during that time to assist the raid agent. And then it makes no sense, but at every turn, it's funny with how he's talking and how he's relating to the other person about what's gonna happen next, because he knows. And I'm like, wait, are they gonna do a Raid 3 where the villains team up or something? It was a little confusing. I'm like, why is he here? What reason does he serve? Other than to give me a few laughs, he really served no purpose. And I was just like, I like that he's here. I like that they're referencing the first film, but at the same time, it's not important. As well as they spent a little too much time on the daughter, and I'm like, I get it, you want to show he's a family man, but 40 minutes into the film, she disappears. She serves no other purpose other than to establish he's a family man. It has no actual writing on the story, because his wife actually leaves the house while her husband is out and about. So where is the daughter? And his wife is going down, hunting down the female victims of the politician. And I'm just like, what? You had the child, and then you get rid of the child because she's no longer used to you in the story. It's just like, don't introduce a child. Another thing I had issues with is, like, one of the things they're hunting for is this massive gold hand that's sticking out of the earth, and it gets replaced with a brass one overnight. The thing that pissed me off at the end, and if you've seen the film, you know, it's literally just put 2 feet away. You're raiding the location. You're destroying pillars. You're tearing up furniture. You're digging up the land. You can't search it. If you've seen it, you know. If you've seen it, you know. And that's the most pissed off scene. It's just like, everything else made sense because they needed to move it and they relocated, and it was basically musical chairs, is that what it would be? Or hot potato. It was more like hot potato, where they're moving this hot item from location to location to location as the raid agents are coming to pick it up. But they couldn't do that with the gold hand, so they had to hide it in plain sight. But the thing is, it was just like, it was in a place where they would obviously have checked. But they didn't, for some unknown freaking reason. It just aggravated me. I was just like, that's literally 2 feet away from where it was. Other than that, I enjoyed it. I had fun throughout this film. Seeing how the investigation went out, seeing how he got basically suspended from the agency, seeing how he took it upon himself to continue his raid, his 75th raid, even though he's no longer working for the government. Putting his job on the line in order to bring down corruption. And with someone like that, there is a lot of people who are willing to talk about it, and there are a lot of people who are not willing to talk about it. Like, for instance, there is the one person who kind of slides something into his pocket, and you know what I mean? And then it turns out there's an entire village afraid of the politician. It was just like, well, why didn't he find that out sooner? Why didn't he find it out even after? You don't find out till the very end of the film. You understand as to why the women are afraid, because their parents' land is gone. They have been beaten and battered and abused, some of them who didn't have land. They're just coerced into doing these things. And it's really disgusting, but you understand as to why the women are afraid to come forth, because who would listen to them when this guy is praised by everyone in town? Of course, now most people should be aware that politicians are nothing but scums and only out to line their own pocket. But let's face it, judging by what was going on in LA, with it looking like a war-ridden nation, it proves that most people don't actually have common sense. They're guided by their own emotions. Sure, we all are, but we all need to think. And that's what I like about this film. It's just, he takes emotion out of the equation, because sure, this person is probably giving to hundreds of thousands. He's probably donating 20 cores to impoverished people. But guess what? He's pocketing probably 80 core. That's how politicians are. And that's the thing. It's just like, oh, they do these good things, but that doesn't change the fact that they're taking from the people to give back to the people. That don't make no sense. Take from the people to provide infrastructure, to provide security, to provide a force. You never take from the people to line your own pockets. But yeah, seeing them go after a politician was just like, it felt good. It felt good, because I hate politics. I hate politics. There's nothing more corrupt, nothing more evil and vile than politics. It's just the way it is. It's like always been that way. But yeah, I had fun with this film. It was really enjoyable, and I would definitely rewatch it. Of course, I'd need to rewatch the first one and then enjoy the second one, because the way this ended, it feels like there's going to be a third. Thank you all for watching, Doug. See you next time. Toodles.
You guys got a video? Why is it so bad?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait, wait on that.